Hey, my name is David, and I'm in my mid-20s, born again Christian, and I've dedicated my life to Christ and also to serve Him. I'm going to give a testimony about myself and how Christ has had a big impact in my life, and maybe one or two things in my story can encourage someone who's out there going through the same that I went through, and also to go on with life as a young person. So a little bit about my history is that I grew up in the rural areas of our country. I'm from the eastern side of Africa, and I'm the firstborn in a family of two. And since I grew up in the village, when the time came to go to town, that was when I was in my third grade. We moved with my family, my mom, my brother, and I. We moved to a nearby town, and I would say that was the starting point for me to move away from my teachings and the teachings my mom would teach us as 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 the sons. And as the years passed by, my character started to change because of the influence I had in the city. Although I did well in my high school afterwards and moved out to go to the university, things were quite, let's say, they were not good, because I remember at one point I stole my mom's money, and she later noticed, and she asked me, and there was some quarreling and stuff like that. And from that day, my mom started to doubt my character, and I could just feel it. Then when I moved to campus, I was very happy that I joined the university. I got the time to stay far from my mother and my relatives. I therefore took the time to mingle and involve myself in things that I could not do when I was at home. I know that teens understand what I mean by being away from parents and relatives. In the university, I got good friends and other influential friends. I stopped going to church. I would spend most of my time hanging around with various friends. I did do things that did not portray Christian values. At one point, I found myself locked in a cell with friends after a night out. We got drunk, and as we were going back to our houses, the police arrested us because there was a curfew at that time. I had to call home to be to get released from the cell, and I caused a lot of worry to my family. And after campus, I got a job even before graduating, and life went on well. I did not leave behind the bad habits. However, I still did not learn from my previous mistakes. I was, I would say, I had a hard heart, a hard heart that would not change easily. After 2 years, I lost my job, and that is where my turning point started. I realized that I had diverted my attention to worldly treasures, where more than rust destroy. If you read Matthew 6, verse 19, I started my journey of recovering, and I got myself another job after a year of suffering. I think it was a year or so. I remember at one point I tried to God to help me secure a job even if it's a low-paying job. And God answered my prayer. I went into the company as a cleaner. It was a vegetable packing company. And I later went up the ladder to become an assistant administrator. That was after 7 months or so. I worked hard until I felt I was now well capable of starting a business from the cash, from the wages I earned for the month. I thank God for all that He did to transform me. I passed the dark valley and still He held my hand. When things seemed impossible, He reassured me. He led me into the cool waters and the green pastures. He has indeed been a good shepherd. All I need to do is to hold fast to the faith and to Christ, as David said in Psalms 23. As the Lord also declares in Nahum 1:7, the Lord is good, a stronghold in the days of trouble, and He knoweth them that trust in Him. Surely God will not leave His people to perish. I noted these after passing all through these things, that even though I deviated myself from Christ, He was there to hold my hand. And David also wrote very well in Psalms 18:2 that the Lord is my rock and my fortress and my deliverer. In this case, God delivered me from what I was going through, the troubles of life. Then you see, I got baptized after getting my job, when I was doing the job at the packing company. And though we can say that as Christians, our lives have changed, but we should remember that Satan is not going to make things easy for us. Paul says in Ephesians 6:12 that we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. So Satan is not a small thing to joke with. Peter says in 1 Peter 5:8 that we be vigilant, we be sober, because the devil is roaring around, is roaming around like a lion, seeking whom he may devour. So we should be very careful when we get saved again, and so much more. I thank God for giving me this opportunity of serving Him and walking with Him. Although I slept and I fell down, I still woke up, and that is the thing that we should have as Christians, especially the young people. They fall and they go like that. You indulge yourself into drugs and whatever, and you stay there. You shouldn't stay there. You should come to Christ. He's willing to take you, to accommodate you. You are the one to take the first initiative to call up to Him, and He will surely deliver you from whatever burden you have. He says, my yoke is simple. So it is us to cast our burdens to the cross. Remember that although we are not saved by our righteousness, by what we do, but it is by the righteousness of Christ. First, we should give Christ all our burdens, and we get the righteousness of Christ through His blood that He shed on the cross. I hope this testimony impacts something in your heart that whatever you are going through as a young man, you should always have Christ at your disposal. You should cling unto Christ in all everything that you are doing. Even if you are going bad things, you are going on through the hard time, even in the good times, stay close to Christ. He will be there for you, and He will surely help you. Amen.